African National Congress will be welcoming 5 new members to the National Assembly. The vacancies have been created by recent resignations of Jeff Radebe, Bathabile, Dlamini and Hanekom, amongst others. Now, the 5 members will be sworn in on Tuesday afternoon in Parliament. While the so-called New Dawn seems to be making waves in the National Assembly, so from some analysis and the ongoing resignations by the ANC parliamentarians, I'm joined via Skype by political analyst Dlamini. Dlamini, thanks a lot for joining us on Newsnight this evening. Certainly the amount of resignations has caused quite a bit of a stir. Is it surprising at this stage, given the fact that some of those resignations have been members that have been serving since the dawn of democracy?
I don't think that we need to be surprised, because it shows that most of those who have been claiming that they are loyal to the call of the ANC that says if the ANC send them to any position, they will respect that call. But this time, it has proven that a call of an ANC is very limited to their selfish and their own jealously safeguarding their pension fund and so forth. And so I think they have unpeeled the reality that says the ANC's call to say, send us wherever, it's got its limitation when it comes to personal ambition, as well as to coming to preserving their pension funds and so forth. And so I think it shows that the politician, what comes first is their own livelihood rather than the well-being of the organization as well as of the South Africans.
Well, then, if they are resigning like this in the aim of protecting their pension funds, it says something about perhaps the depth of the African National Congress. In other words, it appears as though it's still politics of the stomach that continue to govern our politics of this day, and not necessarily the will to serve the people.
You have to understand that we don't have ANC anymore. ANC was buried with Oliver Tambo. Post that, people are there as political merchants. People are there to fulfill their own aristocratic kind of life. It has nothing to do with the realization of the historical objectives of the ANC, of which is to unshackle the bondage that has been put by the apartheid as well as the colonialism to those who are the indigenous of South Africa. And so ANC is no more. I think we have to accept that.
And if the ANC is no more, as you say, Dlamini, then what do we have leading us as a nation? Who is exactly this governing party? Because then that brings into question a whole new statement around the relevance and actually the effectiveness and even the reality of this new dawn that we keep on speaking about.
Look, we have political merchants who are trading with the honorable colors and the brand of the ANC. And the issue of New Dawn is just an elusive, it's just an imaginary one. And I can say is a mirage. There is no new dawn, because when you talk about the new dawn, you have to tell us what new that the ANC is going to give it to us. But when you look at the manifesto, as well as when you think about what the president is going to tell us in the State of the Nation address, definitely there is nothing new. It's about housing, it's about fighting unemployment, it's about trying to increase the economy. But when you look at the realities, South Africa's economy is in serious trouble, and the bondage of poverty to the majority of South Africans is still there. And so there is nothing new that you are going to expect from the SONA, as well as the 6th Parliament. We have to understand that the 6th Parliament serves as a factory for these political merchants to go there and withdraw their salaries at the end of the month, as well as to protect their pension, and then they simply give hope to the historically condemned. But in reality, there is nothing that is going to happen to the South African. As I've said before, I think the political organization in South Africa, they've reached a ceiling. A new paradigm in South Africa, I think, needs to be negotiated. And the South African must start to renegotiate this new paradigm. What kind of political organization do we need that can take us to the next level?
Yeah, this is actually bringing the question, never mind the issue around the political organization that is needed, but now it's even giving mind to what type of political system is actually needed in South Africa so that those that are equipped, those that are effective, those that actually want to serve will get the opportunity to serve. Because some of these members that have been introduced, others have been, many will argue that some are relevant, others it's questionable, but then what happens around the political system? And perhaps we need to start tackling the idea of the political system in the country. Should we actually be voting for a political party which then selects its members or elects its members, or should the members represent themselves so that the people can decide who speaks to them?
Look, take for example the exodus of those who are protecting their pensions. We never voted for them. And so that's why they can do like this, because we voted for a political organization. I think the most important thing now is that the South African must start to have a conversation about our electoral system, because if we start to reconfigure our electoral system that can give voice to the voiceless, I think that's where South African society as well as the political system can be reshaped. But if we still proceed like this, ANC is going to give us any kind of squandrel that we never voted for, because that particular squandrel has got so much influence within the organization. Take, for example, the current members of the parliament, the EFF as well as the ANC, the so-called Good Party and the DA, all of them are tainted. The sad part is the debate is not going to be more vibrant, because the so-called the villain and his lieutenant Jacob Zuma and those who have been opted not to be to go to the 6th parliament are no longer going to be in the parliament. And so now the question is, who is the villain that the opposition party is going to craft and that is going to rile behind that villain, so that we as the citizen, we can think that there is something happening in that parliament, whereas there is nothing that is happening at all.
Dlamini, you raise some very pertinent issues and some nuggets to actually think about there. We're going to leave our conversation for this evening. However, political analyst Dlamini Dube just really giving us insight in terms of his thoughts around the ANC welcoming 5 new members into the National Assembly to replace some of those resignations. While the